Benjamin shifted in the driver's seat of his old, battered sedan, pulling his threadbare jacket tighter around his body. The night air was cruel, slicing through the cracks in the car windows like tiny invisible blades. He had been living in this parking lot for almost 3 years now, a ghost among the bustling shoppers and oblivious security guards. His presence was a secret, a violation that could get him thrown out if anyone discovered the truth. He had perfected the act of vanishing. The shopping mall's sprawling car park had a secluded corner where the lights flickered intermittently, creating shadows deep enough to swallow him whole. His car, once a modest vehicle, was now a relic of past dreams, its faded orange paint pitting like the layers of his former life. The manager of the mall had no idea he existed, and Benjamin intended to keep it that way. Tonight, however, something was different. His instincts prickled with unease. He wasn't alone. A rustling noise reached his ears. Benjamin stiffened, barely breathing as he peered through the cracked windshield. A dark figure moved between the parked cars, its silhouette barely visible under the flickering lights. He ducked lower, heart hammering against his ribs. Then, a sound he dreaded, a low, deliberate knock against his window. Benjamin's pulse spiked. He turned his head slowly, sweat slicking his palms despite the cold. The figure stood just outside his car, face obscured by a hood. The knock came again, firmer this time. Swallowing hard, Benjamin reached under his seat, fingers closing around the only protection he had, a rusted tire iron. Open the door, Benjamin. His blood ran cold. The voice was deep, unfamiliar, yet it carried a weight that made his stomach churn. How did they know his name? Panic surged through him, but he fought it down. Who are you? He asked, forcing his voice to stay steady. A slow chuckle. You don't remember me? That's a shame. Benjamin's mind raced. He had no family, no friends left. His past was buried under 3 years of hardship. No one should know him. No one should be looking for him. A gloved hand reached up and pulled back the hood. The man's face was partially illuminated by the distant glow of the streetlights. Scars crisscrossed his cheek, and his piercing dark eyes locked onto Benjamin's with unsettling familiarity. Memories slammed into him like a wrecking ball. David. The name sent a jolt of fear down his spine. Benjamin had thought he was dead, had hoped he was dead. But here he was, alive and standing outside his car, wearing a twisted smile. You look like you've seen a ghost, David said, resting a hand on the door handle. Open up. We need to talk. Benjamin's grip on the tire iron tightened. I don't have anything to say to you. David clicked his tongue, shaking his head. You always were stubborn, but you should listen, Ben. I came to warn you. A sharp sound in the distance, a car door slamming shut. Benjamin's nerves were already frayed, but now they snapped. He whipped his head around, scanning the dimly lit lot. Another figure emerged, this one bulkier, moving with a calculated purpose. Benjamin's breath hitched. David leaned in closer. They're coming for you, Ben. What? Who? The people you stole from. A rush of dread paralyzed him. It had been years since that fateful night, the one that changed everything, back when Benjamin had been desperate, too desperate to think straight. The plan had been simple. Help David and his crew lift a suitcase from a shady businessman, take their cut, and disappear. But something had gone horribly wrong. There had been gunfire, people had died, and Benjamin had run. He had spent the last 3 years convinced he had escaped, but now the past had found him. David's eyes darkened. They found me first. That's why I look like this. He gestured to the scars on his face. They will do worse to you. Benjamin's mind raced. The second figure was getting closer. He had mere seconds to decide. You have one chance, Ben, David said, stepping back. Come with me or stay and see what happens. The other man was only a few feet away now. The glint of metal flashed under his jacket. A gun. Benjamin's heart pounded as he grabbed the car keys and twisted them in the ignition. The engine coughed, sputtered, then roared to life. The gunman lunged just as Benjamin slammed the car into reverse. Tires screeched. The car jolted back, narrowly missing the attacker. David dived into the passenger seat. Drive! Benjamin didn't need to be told twice. He spun the wheel, tires skidding on the concrete as he tore out of the parking lot, headlights slicing through the darkness. In the rear mirror, the gunman was already pulling out his phone. Reinforcements were coming. David exhaled sharply, wincing as he clutched his side. Looks like you still have a knack for survival. Benjamin tightened his grip on the wheel. Where are we going? David's eyes flickered with something unreadable. To finish what we started. A chill ran down Benjamin's spine. He had just escaped death, but something told him his nightmare was only beginning. Suddenly, headlights flared in his rearview mirror. A black SUV roared onto the road behind them, gaining speed. Benjamin clenched his jaw. They are following us. David's fingers twitched as he reached into his jacket. A gun. He checked the magazine, then gave Benjamin a sideways glance. Then let's make sure they don't catch us. The SUV accelerated, closing the gap. A figure leaned out the passenger window, aiming a weapon. Benjamin yanked the wheel hard to the left, barely dodging the first shot that shattered his side mirror. David rolled down his window, bracing himself. Keep driving, and whatever happens, don't stop. The chase led them toward the docks, the cold sea breeze mixing with the sweat on Benjamin's brow. As they neared the waterfront, David suddenly barked, "Turn left, now!" Benjamin obeyed, skidding into a dimly lit pier. The SUV followed, only for flashing red and blue lights to erupt from the shadows. Armed officers swarmed the area, weapons drawn. The SUV screeched to a halt. David smirked and turned to Benjamin. Surprise! Benjamin's stomach dropped as David pulled out a badge. Benjamin Carter, you are under arrest for your involvement in the 2018 Grand Heights robbery. Benjamin froze. You? You set me up? David leaned in. I was never your friend, Ben, just your case handler. As cuffs clicked around Benjamin's wrists, he realized the past had truly caught up with him, just not in the way he expected.